You sit in the P organ. Yeah, you sit in the P organ to upgrade the P.
Hello, good morning.
Oh, good morning, BBs. It's too early.
It sure is.
Welcome to the first, best, and only morning show in existence. I'm Anthony Carboni.
And I'm Saige Ryan, and it's the week of the year.
It's the week of the year. It's the biggest week of the entire year.
Yeah.
For Hideo Kojima.
Specifically Hideo Kojima, but you know what?
Congratulations to Hideo Kojima.
But today is not a news show.
No.
So kind of like whatever to that.
Yeah.
I guess there's news happening out there.
But also it's good to see something good happen for that guy.
So rare.
It's so rare that something good happens for Hideo Kojima. And I think it's important that we take this moment to just go, finally, something going right.
It's also a rare good day for tits on Twitch.
Tits on Twitch. 2 minutes later, tits on Twitch.
And I say that unironically. Congratulations to every actual titty streamer. There's a lot of people that call all women titty streamers. I mean the straight up titty streamers.
Yeah.
Genuinely, hell yeah.
But actually, I mean, like, honestly,
yeah.
I know we have other things to talk about.
We do,
today.
but hey, we always chat a little in the beginning.
But we can chat about racks on Twitch. We have a minute for racks on Twitch.
Racks on Twitch.
2 minutes later. Technically, these women are showing way less than.
Wait, it got rolled back this morning? I hadn't looked at the news today.
The news? Well, here's what I'll tell you.
I looked last night. It was still standing last night.
If indeed it got rolled back.
Is this breaking news?
Here's the thing. Breaking news. They were showing way less than they've ever shown because it was just head and shoulders.
Look.
They were literally showing less skin than literally anyone. Just by definition. Mm-hmm. Because most people on Twitch are in a medium close shot.
Yeah.
And these people were on close shots.
Yep.
They were technically showing less than they've ever shown.
Here's a couple of things. One, a couple people came to my stream and were like, what do you think? Don't you think the platform's gonna turn it into a campsite? No, I don't. I don't care. Nobody's enforcing you to show your tits. I promise you don't have to. Nobody's forcing me to, and...
Although you do sometimes walk around on the beach with a shirt that says female body inspector.
Yeah, I do.
And you try to, and you do tell
FBI.
Yeah, and you tell women that that's a government position. You have done that.
Yeah, and then I wink. Works every time. No, but seriously, with that in mind, Twitch agreed themselves that they've been disproportionately banning women for having bodies. We know that there's been issues with that. And now people can just appropriately, I mean, maybe now, who knows? I'm going to see what this update is. But the idea would be that people can appropriately label it because people were always going to be making sexual content on Twitch. People are always going to be making it on every platform. Sex will find its way into literally everything. And there is no pretending that it wasn't here.
Except for my mind.
It can be appropriately
because I'm
labeled.
A clean boy. Sorry.
It's true.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't even know what it is.
The only depiction he's ever seen of it is in The Sims.
That's right. Until last night when I saw somebody talk about it on Twitch. And it scared me so much that I wrote to Steven Twitch about how the platform is ruined now. And I got all of the rules rolled back.
If there's a rules update, why didn't I get an email?
Because I had seen too many women's shoulders. And I mean, what is this? The 1930s? No. Bring it back to the 1920s. No women's shoulders.
Okay. All they said is they were updating it because they feel like they caused confusion. Supposedly, in their eyes, they're not changing it. They're elaborating on what they meant by it.
They do this a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, every time they roll out a big change to their terms, it's inevitable that somebody does things according to terms.
Yeah.
And they go, oh, we don't know if we meant it that way. Did we write it? Did we do it the right way?
So effective today, we are rolling back the artistic nudity changes. Moving forward, depictions of real or fictional nudity won't be allowed on Twitch, regardless of the medium. This restriction does not apply to mature-rated games. You can find emote-specific standards for nudity and sexual content in the emote guidelines. We aren't making any other changes to the updated sexual content policy.
So what does this mean for AI influencers who want to get naked? Are they game characters?
No, actually, they did specify that specifically like VTubers, AR characters, things like that have to follow the rules of people.
Okay.
They're not considered in-game characters, but there was always a concern when you're playing games that if like something pops up or like I play a lot of dating sims. If you see a little anime titty, I was like, I'm going to get fucking banned.
Yeah.
So that does not apply, but VTubers and stuff like that do. So on here, in the new adult nudity policy, it says users are prohibited from broadcasting or uploading content that it contains depictions of real or fictional nudity, regardless of the medium used to create it. Incomplete censoring, such as pixelization, mosaics, blurring effects, sheer or partially see-through clothing, do not constitute as an exception to this policy.
What?
Yeah.
Pixeling it out? Like censor bars don't count? Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Get back to your Amish community and raise a barn.
We don't permit streamers to be fully or partially nude, including exposing genitals or buttocks. We do not permit the visible outline of genitals, even when covered. Okay. Broadcasting nude or partially nude minors is always prohibited, of course. For those who present as women, we ask that you cover your nipples. We do not permit exposed underbust. I can't show a little underboob?
No.
Bullshit.
That's the most risque part of the boob.
Cleavage is unrestricted as long as these coverage requirements are met.
Well, at least it's a good week for Hideo Kojima. You know? That's what's important.
No sheer clothing on any parts of the body where clothing is required. Hey guys, what the fuck? They took the underboob from us, and that's a big bummer.
Look, it's a sad day.
Yeah, so actually
it was a happy day, but then it was a sad day.
It's a bad day for tits on Twitch.
Yeah. Great week for Hideo Kojima.
Great day for Hideo Kojima. That's great. Yeah. That's wild.
I know, A24.
I was still thinking about boobs.
I know you were.
Yeah.
Female body inspector over here.
Anyway. Yeah, the wording is confusing as heck. And here's the thing, for just a brief shining moment, we were like, oh, thank you for actual clarity so people know. And there were already, oh my God, there were so many dudes that went scrolling through Twitch and they were like, I logged out and I went to the homepage and I still saw boobs. Do you know what the internet knows about you?
Do you understand how cookies and cache work?
Do you know?
Have you ever heard of the internet?
Because like I will show my Twitch homepage right now and show you not a titty streamer in sight. Even as the FBI female body inspector.
Because you use incognito mode.
Like truly, there's all these dudes being like, this is being targeted at everyone. This is what everyone's homepage looks like. Are showing themselves so hard. It was like that Republican that was like, I don't know why I open up the TikTok app and it's a bunch of half-naked 13-year-olds and it's like, mine isn't.
No.
That's weird. Mine isn't.
Mine is frogs in cowboy hats, dude.
Yeah, so
now I don't know how old the frogs are, but I assume they're following the TikTok terms of service.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to use TikTok if you're under 13 or something.
Right. It's old frog.
A lot of frogs are old and wise.
Yeah.
You know?
Anyways, it's the week of the year, everybody.
We're going to be
recapping our favorite video games of the year. Things that we played, things that we loved. Now, you set this restriction. It can't just be games that we played this year. I believe you said last year that it can only be games that came out this year, right?
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You said that last year, so I followed it this year.
Yeah, just because I feel like otherwise we get into a real messy, like, you know what I mean?
No.
Because
most of my favorite games I played this year were not from this year.
There were a couple games that I looked into when I was playing a lot of Game of the Year contenders that I was thinking about.
Yeah.
Where I looked into it, and it's like, oh, that was like December 2022 or November 2022.
Yep.
Whoops.
Yep.
So I had to let those go. I had to let them go.
Maybe if we end up with some extra time, which we won't, we'll do some honorable mentions of the games we actually played the most this year. Because my most played game, decidedly not from 2023.
Right.
My top 3 probably.
Hey, shout out to Symphony of the Night again.
Hey, shout out to Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition again.
You ever played one of the Anno games? Mm-mm. I think you'd like them.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. They're very Age of Empires-y.
I looked at my Steam library and I was like, everything I'm playing is old.
Yeah.
Like Dreamlight Valley was my most played game this year.
Which technically that's the last year.
That was the end of 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah. Age of Empires. Minecraft Dungeons. I'm going through a phase.
Now, what do we do for ongoing games like Cyberpunk 2077? Games that are ongoing, games that we can really consider more a platform than a game, really, because of all the content and everything.
What I would say would qualify is like if you've got Final Fantasy 14 and you're talking about like the expansion that came out this year.
Sure.
Yes, re-upped. If nothing came out for it this year, can't make the list.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fair.
Yeah.
Any ongoing,
they have to have released something this year.
ongoing game worth its salt probably releases at least one content pack a year.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like Cyberpunk 2077, the award-winning ongoing game of the year. Jesus. They gave it. They were like, here you go.
They gave it to him.
They were like, here you go, boot. Here you go.
Yeah.
It's for you.
We love it.
Anyway, shall we start?
Yeah, we should start. Do you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. My first game of the year this year stars a little somebody known as Peppino Spaghetti. That's right, everybody. I'm talking about the Pizza Tower.
Oh, that's right. I remember your Pizza Tower phase.
It's not a phase, Mom.
It's who I am.
Pizza Tower is still an amazing game. Pizza Tower is a Wario Land 4 lover's delight, and also
I didn't play it.
A speedrunner's delight.
Ooh.
This game is so good and perfect. I have footage up on my monitor, Josh. You are Peppino Spaghetti, and you've got to run through all of the, it's Spider-Man 2 for the PlayStation 2. You see nothing? My NDI isn't up? Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Is that on our Steam family, Sharon?
Yeah.
I think our Steam family might have disconnected because I'm not seeing your games.
It's going to be for whatever computer you signed up on.
Oh.
So if your computer is on at home,
we have to reconnect it because it was connected to this computer. That's why I haven't been seeing any of your games.
Oh.
I'm on my Alienware PC at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why.
Because I was like, that's so weird. Like, I guess Anthony just hasn't been getting any fun new games for me to play.
Yeah, no, yeah. There's been games. Oh my stars, there's been games.
Anyways, we're a family.
Screen capture. Are you sure you're not seeing it, Josh? I'll restart it, but it should be up. Okay. I'll go back to the Pizza Tower. This game is so fucking good, Saige. I can't believe you have not played it yet.
Well, reconnect to my Steam family, Sharon. I will. We can't be out here both buying games, Anthony.
I mean,
we're a family. That's ridiculous.
We're a family.
A family of 2.
I'm trying to find like a good video of Pizza Tower.
Alex wants it. I don't remember how we did it. You have to be on the same internet at the same time, right? So it looks like you're in the same household and then you get to keep it.
Well, no, you don't have to be on the same internet at the same time. You just have to be ready to log in as both people on the computer. Here's Pizza Tower. Pizza Tower, he's got a sticky run when he does the Mario's Smash run, the Wario.
Okay, now it's showing other things.
But he can run up walls. He can smash through things. He's got like a power slam. And the whole thing is you've got to save Peppino Spaghetti's Peppino's Pizzeria.
Sure.
From the evil pizza face.
This is so early internet vibes.
It very much is. It's this weird late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah. Like, it feels like a Flash game that I would have played on like adultswim.com, honestly.
Yeah, but also it just
like
feels
Surgeon Simulator or whatever.
It feels very also late 90s Nicktoons.
Yes,
like very
it does. I think that those games were a reflection of late 90s Nicktoons.
Yeah, for sure. But you can see, like, you can grab and like pile drive people. You can do all kinds of, you can do a taunt, and then you can do a super taunt. It's very Wario Land 4.
Yeah, that's great.
It's extremely, and you've got to get through the level. And just like in Wario Land 4, when you hit the bell at the end of the level, you got to run all the way backwards through the level again. And it's so, when you first play it, you are going to feel like it is the most awkward, strangely controlling, bad game you've ever played. And then you're going to get 2 or 3 levels in.
Yeah.
And you're going to go, oh.
Okay.
And then when you go back and play the beginning levels, you'll be like, oh.
Oh.
But anyway, yeah, and he's got this special, he's got the things like in Wario Land where he can't die.
Oh, okay.
So instead of dying, you get like, when somebody hits you, you get like a status ailment. But sometimes those status ailments are good.
Yeah.
Like somebody can throw you into a pizza box and then the pizza box becomes wings and you can fly.
Okay.
Or like you can become like this skating knight that can't really jump very high, but like he skates and he's got a sword. And the sword is the only thing that can stop the pizza pope.
Hell yeah, Pizza Pope.
It's a good game. And it's normally like, when I got it, they were doing a thing for the first 3 months where Pizza Tower was $5.
Oh.
And I think it's 20 now, 15 or 20, but it's 100% worth it.
Got it.
I highly recommend it, particularly if you're a fan of really kind of any of the Wario Land games, but any kind of like technical platformer or speedrunning game.
Yeah.
You're going to be extremely, extremely into Pizza Tower. It's a good game.
Good game.
It's a good game, Pizza Tower.
Good game, Pizza Tower.
Listen, a lot of games came out in 2023, so when I tell you that with my limited time.
Yeah, I can't believe that made the list. I do remember now when you were so into it, when you were really, really in it. But it was enough ago, and there's been so many things in between that I've forgotten now.
Yeah, it was really early in the year, Pizza Tower.
Yeah.
It was like January or February. But ding dang, it's
Ding
so
dang.
good. It's so good.
So good.
It's so good.
Woo. I love that. I think that's excellent. BBs, did any of you play Pizza Tower?
Yeah, who played the Pizza Tower? If you played the Pizza Tower, then you know what's up. You all know.
All right. I've got one for you. Because we're not, I thought we might be starting with our strongest first. We're not.
Oh, no.
There's no way that was your favorite game.
No, I thought it would work.
You
work up to game of the year.
Work up to game of the year. Okay. I would like to show you a game that I have been yelling at you to play all year.
Yeah.
Cassette Beasts.
I played it.
Did you play it?
Yeah. I played Cassette Beasts.
How did it sit for you?
It's pretty good.
Just pretty good for you.
Here's what I'm going to tell you. I do not have the built-in intense childhood love of Pokemon games.
That's true. It won't hit if you don't.
But I do love it as a riff on Pokemon.
Yeah.
I think it's really good. And I enjoyed the story in the world a lot.
The story in the world is phenomenal. Josh, are you showing my screen or can you? All right, amazing. I don't know what we're doing. So Cassette Beasts, for those who are not familiar, is a Pokemon-like game. It has a lot of classic Pokemon nostalgia with a slightly I would say vaporwave aesthetic to it at times. You, instead of collecting them in Pokeballs, they are on little cassettes. And the creatures are kind of horrifying a lot of the time instead.
Yeah.
There are battles with gods. There are really compelling NPCs.
It has a lot of Digimon in the monster design.
I agree that it does. And I never played Digimon growing up. I was one of those Pokemon kids that was like, oh, I can't. I'm a Pokemon kid. I can't Digimon.
What if Pikachu finds out?
Exactly. But there are horrifying monsters and gods that you fight. And like I said, I honestly think one of the things for me was just that the people that you interact with are so fun and well written and silly.
Genuinely.
It's got a absolutely stellar soundtrack too. The music in this game is phenomenal. It's so much fun, and the creatures that you collect are so weird, where it's familiar enough to be like, yes, like Pokemon, but so strange. It's just every time there's a new generation of Pokemon, there's always one fucking weird guy.
Yeah.
This is all the weird guys.
It's all the weird guys. So without getting too heavy into spoilers or whatever, one of the conceits of this game is you're on this island where everybody on the island is from either some other universe or some other world or dimension or time. And you all just wound up living on this island together, and the mix of all the different people on the island is so wonderful.
They came from different times and totally different worlds. And that's why I keep talking about just like the NPCs are so good.
The story is amazing. And there is like, a lot of like conversational relationship stuff in the game. And I got to tell you, the first time that I was talking to Cool Barista in front of the head of the Rangers, and I was like, oh no, both of my crushes are here.
Yeah.
I hope they don't see. Yeah. I hope they don't see that I'm trying to be the female body inspector for both of them.
Very crush-worthy NPCs. Incredibly crush-worthy little pixels.
I also really enjoy, the other conceit is instead of Pokeballs, you have a Walkman, and you don't capture these creatures.
You make a copy of them.
You dub them onto cassette, and then you become the creature.
Yeah, so when you activate a battle, you do. Instead of throwing one out there to fight for you, which always feels a little like, oh.
Yeah.
You do. You transform into it, and you get stronger as you go. And also, sometimes you're stronger based on the like companion that you're traveling with.
Yeah. Not
your animal companion, but like one of the NPCs that's moving with you for a mission. I just think that like it's so fleshed out, I guess, is it? I love every aspect of it. I played this game and I was like, I couldn't tell you a single bad thing about this game.
I think it's one of those games where I will come back to it. I think there are a lot of games that came out this year that this year was just so slam packed for games.
Yeah.
Where in probably any other year, I would have given a lot more time to Cassette Beasts.
Yeah.
Because I think it's wonderful. I mean, there are other games that that I don't know if we're going to talk about, but were a lot like that. Something like Thirsty Suitors would have taken up a lot more of my time this year or any other year. But this year I was just like, this is really cool. Beep, boop, 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 boop.
I played Thirsty Suitors once. And
not for you, huh?
It was not for me. I loved it. I want to say without any hesitation, it's a phenomenal game.
Right.
I just got called out too hard by parents and I was like, I'm okay.
That's fair. That's fair. I think Thirsty Suitors has a lot of there's a lot of stuff in it where it's very based on the reality and the life of the writers.
Yeah.
And that's why it comes off so well.
It's clever, authentic, original, beautiful.
But those things that the writers got so good are dysfunctional family stuff and dysfunctional relationship stuff.
Yeah.
And failure.
Yeah.
And so when if you're in a space where you don't want to deal with any of that, Thirsty Suitors could be a little rough.
It's brutal. You have a very strong inner voice that's mean to you. It's like mean as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, based on the voice is based on your sibling. And so it's like, oh, okay. All right.
Your rude ass sister.
Yeah.
Anyways.
That's
not one of the games we're talking about today.
But it's a great game.
It's a phenomenal game. It is hilarious and looks wonderful. But so my first up was Cassette Beast. What's your second game of the year, Anthony?
The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, I figured you'd put that on there.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Can I tell you what, though?
Do tell.
Can I tell you? I haven't finished it.
I haven't either.
I haven't finished it.
I haven't either.
I'm in a very perplexing place with this game because it is as I was thinking about games of the year and I was like making my list and I was thinking out what
Checking
to do.
Checking it twice.
Yeah. Inspecting the female bodies twice. See if they're not.
You can't do it. I can.
No, I can't do it. I'm not licensed to practice medicine.
Correct.
As I was making out my list, I was looking at it and Tears of the Kingdom kept coming up on it because I do love Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
I'm in no rush to finish or even play very often Tears of the Kingdom.
I feel the same way. I fell off of it much quicker than I was expecting. We were all doing the thing where we were like, oh, when Tears of the Kingdom comes out, catch me never playing another fucking game.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen for me. I still think it was wonderful, and I can't tell you anything bad about it.
No.
I can't say a single thing that like made me fall off of it.
There's something, okay, so I've been really trying to qualify this because I've been thinking about it a lot. And I think there are a couple reasons that I've identified. The first is that Breath of the Wild was so different, so unique.
Yeah.
For a Zelda game especially, that you're never going to get that like punch of that first time playing a game like that ever again. This is a sequel to that game. So there is less novelty in this game than there was in Breath of the Wild, for sure.
And I mean, look, Breath of the Wild, we were all trapped inside.
No, not yet. That was 2017. That was a launch title.
2017?
Yeah, that was a launch title. I bought my Switch to play Breath of the Wild.
I was picturing it 2019.
No.
And then like playing into 2020. I picked it back up in 2020.
That's okay. That's all right.
2017.
2017. Yeah.
I played the majority of it during the pandemic. I'm not going to lie.
That's totally fine.
I started it, fell off of it, did the same thing, you know.
It's constantly it's one of the top 10 best sellers every month on the Switch. So that's not surprising. But so number one, you're not going to get that feeling of playing a game like Breath of the Wild for the first time ever again.
Yeah.
Number two, I'm not a builder. I don't build things in games.
Okay, the build didn't hit for you.
The build doesn't hit for me in anything.
Okay, I know that. Yeah,
the build doesn't really do it. If you put me in a game and you go, hey, thanks so much for playing this game. Now's when things really take off. We're going to have you build your little base, your little home where you live in this game. And I'm like, yo, dog, this is a game where you shoot things. Put me back out there.
Yeah.
I don't want to, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I get you.
Like when I played Fallout 4 for the first time and it was like, are you ready to build your house? I was like, eat shit, Fallout 4. Am I ready to build my house? No, I'm ready to go out there and fight the weird robots. I don't want to fucking play. No, I'm not ready to build my little house, Fallout 4.
We feel so different about this. This is one of our biggest disagreements on games. Because I love to build a little house.
Yeah. Now, put me in something like an Animal Crossing where the expectation is build a little house, do a little thing.
Okay.
But I'll do that. But
you don't like it when it's not the main purpose you're there. You like to focus on the main mechanic of it, and if that's a supporting mechanic.
Well, but also, the thing about Animal Crossing is I don't have to literally set down walls.
Yeah.
I'm not literally building the space.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, are you ready? Like, think about a floor plan. Like Subnautica. I was really into the exploration of Subnautica. And then they were like, it's time to build up your base again. I was like, oh no. No. I just go deeper into the ocean, right? They're like, can't go deeper unless you build an ocean base.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I thought this was swimming game. I didn't know this was built. Like the same thing, No Man's Sky. They were like, and now that we've added base building, I was like, now you can add eating shit. I don't want those are both functions I don't need in this game. So like with Breath of the Wild, when you put me in a Zelda game and you go, hey man, are you ready to build a car? What? I'm sorry, The Legend of Zelda, what?
Yeah.
Are you ready to build an airboat? I mean, I will build an airboat if I have to. Oh, you have to?
Yeah.
So there was that part of it. And listen, when you get to the point where you can save builds and you can when somebody was like, hey, you remember when the 3-part hover bike was released on the internet and everybody was like, hey, all you need is this 3-part hover bike.
Yeah.
I was like, thank God, all I need is this 3-part hover bike. Cause I love seeing what people build in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
There were like 2 episodes earlier this year when Breath of the Wild came out where all we did was like watch people's Breath of the Wild creations. I think it's dope as shit.
You just don't want to do it.
I just don't want to do it. That's reason number 2 is the build. And then I think, here's reason number 3. And this one, I don't know how this is going to hit for other people. Once again, I haven't finished the game, so I could be partially wrong on this. The whole sky land depths. Very cool.
Yeah.
Initially I was like, oh my God, it's too much. It's too much.
Yeah.
It's not too much. It's not too much in that it's overwhelming. It's too much in that there's a lot of the same thing to do over and over in a way that I did not feel in Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
So like I'm up in the sky. I'm in the archipelagos in the sky. And I'm like, oh, there's another like, I can get over there and I'm going to build something with rockets and I'm going to glide and I'm going to figure out my way over these tiny little island. I'm going to do this tiniest island off there and who knows what I'll find. The answer is not much. The answer is not a lot.
Now, you listed this as one of your games of the year.
It's one of my games of the year. So far, this is all
things that you hate about it.
It's one of my games of the year. This is what I'm talking about. I'm extremely conflicted.
Yeah.
Because I still love it.
Yeah.
Why? But like, there are things about it that are just so fundamentally antithetical to what I want to do a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But it's just so brilliant and wonderful. And when I'm in the mood for it, there's nothing like it. And I think this is what a lot of Zelda fans, I knew a lot of Zelda fans that felt this way about Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
I knew a lot of classic Zelda fans that played Breath of the Wild and they're like, this is not Zelda. And I was like, this is the most Zelda.
Yeah.
I was like, this is everything I've wanted for a very long time.
This is a great expansion upon Zelda.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This is going back to the heart of what the original Zelda games were. But now I kind of understand what they were feeling.
Okay.
'Cause this one was like a bridge too far for me. Speaking of a bridge too far, you can solve almost every puzzle with like a really long bridge.
Yes.
Like they're going to set up a bunch of complicated stuff.
Yeah.
But if you're carrying a really long bridge with you, you can solve just about anything Breath of the Wild throws at you.
My thing is I find, and there's so many of those videos online about like what, are the most versatile pieces. I find that so boring and it ruins a game for me. Once you get to a point where it's like, oh, I built a bridge. Like as soon as I get to the point where I'm taking the shortcuts, that means I'm not having fun in the game. It means it's time for me to stop playing. I'm team build the thing. If you want me to build it and build something clever and new, I enjoy building. But I'm also like, you talk about this, I'm a Sims, I'm a Minecraft girly.
Yeah.
So like, I love to lay the foundation. Realistically, also maybe my most played game of the year was House Flipper. Didn't come out this year. House Flipper 2 just did. But like, I love to build.
Yeah.
Big fan of the building.
Oh, you love a build.
Skyrim is my favorite game of all time.
Yeah.
I loved building a home in Skyrim. I love it.
That's one of the things in Skyrim I did not do.
I know.
I think I bought that first house you could buy and I was like, and then I think I got married. Oh my God, I left her there.
Yeah. We were just talking about a lot of people retiring their characters and nope, not you.
Not me.
Couldn't be you.
I think I left her there.
Yeah.
Listen, I do, at the same time, I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, one of the reasons that it is so brilliant is like, they left it open for you to solve these things however you want.
Yeah.
If you really want to carry a big bridge around behind you the whole time, you can do that. You're not going to have a lot of fun.
I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying once I start doing it, it means I'm not
I understand.
Doing the game.
I'm just piggybacking off that to make another point.
Yeah.
The first time I found out that you could stick objects bigger than your sword and shield to your sword and shield.
Yeah.
Like when I found out that you could put a minecart on your shield and solve every minecart puzzle by Tony Hawking your way through it, that's good.
That's really cool.
Like you can't do anything like that in any other game. The thing of like, how long did it take you to, like how many different puzzles were you in doing a really long way before you realized that you had the ascend ability and the ascend ability really just works anywhere?
Yeah.
Like there were some rooms and you go into them. I think that's why it's kind of one of my games of the year is it really challenged you to rethink the patterns of behavior that you have with games. You walk into a room and they've set up this elaborate puzzle and you go, well, I'm playing a Zelda game and here's the elaborate puzzle.
Yeah.
Time to get started on this 20-part elaborate puzzle. And then it's just like, meow. Like if you want to, you could just meow.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit. It took me about 3 times halfway through a big puzzle before I was like,
I can just meow.
I am Fortune's fool. Meow, meow. And so I think there's just something so lovely about that. And then of course, as much as I was like, oh, I don't know if there's enough to do in the sky for me. Like I found one of one of the low gravity, like labyrinths in the sky and some of like the big strange things in the sky. Yeah, it was cool. But Hyrule is just so beautiful. And I was like, oh, well, we're going to be playing in the same map.
Yeah.
So what are they going to change? Everything. It's so different and it looks so lovely. And it's just such a nice place to explore still.
It's a beautiful game.
And like you can feel the Switch wanting to die as you play it.
Yeah.
Like you're playing it and the Switch is just like, please, no. Can we just put on the watermelon game? Let's just play Suika game, please. And you're like, no, Switch. I need you to render all of this real-time lighting. And it's like,
Did Suika game make your list?
Suika game could have made my list.
Honestly, I almost put it on here.
Honestly, with the amount of time that I played Suika game.
I might take something off. I'm gonna put Suika game on there.
Put Suika game on there.
Because I have one that I also know you're gonna have on your list.
Yeah.
And we're gonna talk about it. It doesn't make sense to be on both of our lists. So you could have it.
Okay.
If you don't,
Yeah,
but you do. I know you do.
The only other thing that I want to say is a lot of people didn't like Zelda or the supporting characters in Breath of the Wild, which I think is fucking ridiculous.
I agree. That's ridiculous.
A lot of the stuff about Zelda came
about her.
A lot of the stuff about Zelda came down to voice acting, I think, which was not on the performer. I think that it's genuinely the way they wanted to present her was very like, oh, I've never been outside and I speak like this and oh, what will happen to us and what will happen to me? And like, I sort of like, I get that. Like,
Okay.
This game did a lot to make Zelda active and interesting, and she had a goal of her own.
Yeah.
And she was doing things at the same time that you were.
Yeah.
And you were working in parallel, even though you didn't always know it, to do things together. I really love that. And I love every fucking supporting character in the whole Breath of the Wild timeline.
Agreed.
All of them, including Rivali, who's best. Rivali is best boy. But yeah, so I think the story was very good here too. And the way that you could do it all out of order, that played with like the whole time travel thing of the story was really good. I love it. And sometimes I'm very frustrated with it, but I do find that a lot of times when a game does something new or is groundbreaking in a way, you do have to sort of grapple with it a little bit, you know?
Did aspects of Tears of the Kingdom for you feel like, ooh, the next Zelda is going to be incredible?
Yeah.
Because aspects of it did for me. In the same way that Pokemon has been kind of going through that with games, every time you get one, you're like, oh, you tried something new on this. And you maybe like, you couldn't do everything.
Yeah.
And you had to figure this out and it's here. And once you've done, okay, we have the mechanic. And then once you build the world on top of the mechanic, it's going to be fucking bananas.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a little bit of that I felt like with Tears of the Kingdom, where there were aspects of it, like you said, where there are things that are like a little too easy to solve sometimes, or like a little too easy to evade, or things that felt a little empty. I'm like, ooh, the third game on this with the Switch 2, it's going to be bananas.
Yeah.
It's going to be incredible.
I can't wait to see it. I can't wait 7 years to see it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna, but I don't want to. I'll be there. See y'all in 7 years.
I think it's sooner than that.
Might be.
I don't know. Because like obviously we're not getting a launch title one because Switch 2 is coming too soon.
Yeah.
But
to Switch too soon.
That is actually the working title of The Legend of Zelda live action. All right.
What's your next game?
My next game is Pikmin 4.
Hey!
I love Pikmin. I love Pikmin with all my heart. I love every single Pikmin game. There's no bad Pikmin.
There aren't.
It is the perfect franchise. There's never once been a disappointment for me in the Pikmin franchise.
What's the high point of the franchise for you? Favorite Pikmin? I think mine's probably 2.
2. I think it's 2. 1 and 2 are very closely correlated in my brain, both being GameCube titles. But I think 2 is probably my favorite entry in it. But 4 was phenomenal.
4 was great. And they did a lot of things that were...
I'm still playing.
It's funny. Like you watch... When you look at Nintendo games that come out around the same time, it's very interesting because you know that these teams, like the Tears of the Kingdom team and the Pikmin 4 team, were off in their own places doing their own things.
Yeah.
But they're sharing a building.
Yeah.
And I couldn't help but see like some parallels. You know, where you're going down into the depths in both of them, and you're going into the darkness in both of them, and I don't know. They added a lot to Pikmin and Pikmin 4 that made me very happy.
I think they did such a phenomenal job of taking a game and keeping it so familiar. Like you play Pikmin 4 and you're like, ooh, I know exactly what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like if you love Pikmin, there's no that adjustment that you're saying with Zelda, where you're like, ooh, I have to figure out none of that. There's none of that. You're like, this is a Pikmin game, while also expanding upon it so it doesn't become repetitive. I love everything that they added to it. I loved the new types of Pikmin. I loved the expansion of the universe and the better understanding of it. I liked that it pulled those aspects of like Grounded, where you're like, ooh, this gives me a little more perspective on the world, as opposed to like, yeah, we've seen that they're little and trash is big, but like bringing it into that more real world stuff of just little guys and blades of grass.
Oh my gosh. There's something about, I mean, look, as much as the Switch is not a crazy graphical powerhouse, they did such a good job. Nintendo always does such a good job with developing games economically. Yeah. And Pikmin 4 was just beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Like it really was just running around in these little cartoon guys in a very real world. Yeah. Plus, Dog is there. Ochi is there. And Ochi is amazing.
Love Ochi. So much.
So much.
Fun both mechanically and cute.
Just very cute.
And just like for the world. So cute.
Just like cute for the world.
I love it so, so much. Now hold on. The tension said truly haunted me as a child. What did? What haunted you? Pikmin? Did Pikmin haunt you?
No.
No way.
Pikmin don't haunt. Pikmin help.
Pikmin? The tension says Pikmin haunted them.
I did know a lot of people at the time that did not like playing the original Pikmin because, listen, to know a Pikmin is to know death. Truly. To know, like, the Pikmin go out there, and the honest to God truth is, every Pikmin knows they're expendable. And you have to learn that, and you have to internalize that, and you have to be okay with that.
Which is tough.
To play Pikmin. It's tough.
It's real tough.
It's tough to go out there and say, like, listen, you're all my friends, and I love you, and you're so adorable. And half of you are going to die today in 2 minutes.
I like to think of it as instead of making new ones, I'm bringing the other ones back when I make more Pikmin.
Ah, they're the same Pikmin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I grow new little Pikmin.
Like, welcome back, bud.
Yeah. Ah, sorry, I missed you. Dropping down.
Yeah.
You know, it helps because otherwise it would make me so sad. I think Pikmin, there are certain things from my childhood that have a very like, it's not actually tactile, but feel like a tactile memory and like such an intense sense memory. My example of this is always the Sailor Moon transformation of when the ribbon starts wrapping around her hands and her legs. Yeah. That to me is like one of those key images in my brain. And for some reason, so are the little pods from Pikmin, the little, I don't remember what you call these, the things. The things.
Yeah, the things.
The little circle pod things from Pikmin. It's so deeply tied in my brain to like zone, like a specific zone to be in. And I find myself having a harder time as I get older, really staying in a game for long. A lot of the time I'll start a game and then I'll be like, I should be doing something else, you know?
Sure.
And I don't stream Nintendo games really. I just like never plug my Switch into it, but they're for me.
Because they're for you.
That's
some
my
games are for you
that I keep for me. So like I streamed a little bit of Animal Crossing when it first dropped, and then I was like, no, Animal Crossing is for me, you know?
There are times where I'll stream and if any of y'all who are in here who have come to my streams know, I'll stream a game and I'll get to the end of the stream and I'll just look at people and I'll be like, this is the last time I'm ever going to stream this. I was like, this is it. And people will be like, oh, are we going to do this again tomorrow? I was like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
This turns out this one's too good.
Yeah.
I'm saving this one.
Yeah.
Nom, 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 nom.
And that's important to have. It's simultaneously, you want to have games that you look forward to playing on stream, but also you want to have games that you look forward to in your off time. But I have a hard time when I'm not streaming, staying and playing a game for an extended period of time. I don't zone out into games like I used to. There's too many world distractions that make me feel like I should put this down and do something else. Not Pikmin 4.
Not Pikmin 4.
Not Pikmin 4. I could lose days to that game. I could forget the world exists. I could forget to eat. My cats will be the only thing that make me get up to feed them. It is just enough repetitive, just enough nothing.
Yeah.
Just enough of my little pals waiting for me.
And it's the same ones.
The same ones.
It's the same ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pikmin never die.
I have that tattooed across my abs.
They just regenerate.
Yeah. It's true.
They just regenerate.
Look it up. Read a book, idiots.
They're like the Doctor. Yo, do you watch those Doctor Who specials yet?
No, not yet. I know I have to. I was waiting for all three of them to come out. Then they came out.
They're out.
And then I was like, I got to do it. I got to do it. I'm very excited.
Breathes heavily.
Next up for me.
What'd you got next?
This is tough. This is tough.
You didn't pre-select, Anthony. You got a whole list of games in front of you and you didn't pre-select them?
I thought I pre-selected, but now that I'm in the moment, I've got different thoughts. It's a conflict. It's a conflict. It's tough. There was a lot of stuff this year.
Okay.
There's a lot of stuff this year, and I think I'm gonna go with Lies of P.
Wow.
I think I'm going with Lies of P. Lies of P absolutely fucks.
I didn't play it.
Lies of P is amazing. My favorites, like for a long time, I thought I was a Soulsborne guy.
Yeah.
I thought that's who I am.
Yeah.
I thought I love a Dark Souls. I thought I love a Bloodborne. Here's
Since when has this changed?
Here's the thing. I do love those games, but I really truly love Bloodborne. I'm really mostly a Bloodborne guy.
Okay.
And Lies of P is Bloodborne with 100 million different quality of life updates.
Let's show that video, Josh.
With 100 million different quality of life updates. It's so beautiful. I love anything set in the Gilded Age. I don't necessarily like steampunk, but I do like alternate history technology.
Agreed. Yeah.
So this has a lot of that. I had so much fun playing through this. It's ridiculous. You have to upgrade the boy's pee.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, you have to go into the pee chamber and upgrade the pee.
What are you saying at me?
Yeah, that's what it is. So the world has been taken over by puppets.
Okay.
There are these automatons that were supposed to do everybody's work for them.
Yeah.
And then the puppets have risen up and they became bad for everybody.
Okay.
P stands for your puppet whatever, and it's just like Geppetto upgrades your P. And it's
I
so
thought
stupid.
P was for Pinocchio.
Yeah, you'd think so. But it's not.
I was very confused because a lot of people were very excited for this. The trailer looked very silly, and I was like, that does look kind of fun. But every time I look at gameplay of this, I'm like, the world just looks kind of empty.
So there are big set pieces and there are different areas. This particular chunk of gameplay is kind of right before you get to a pretty big place. It is an empty city.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing is you are in a place where the city has been overrun.
Okay.
People are hiding, and they're hiding in these buildings. Basically, there are a couple buildings that have like anti-puppet technology, like anti-puppet fields. But because you're the boy, the beautiful boy, who's basically he's Timothy Chalamet, really. That's what he looks like.
He does.
Because you are the beautiful boy with his perfect hair and clean waistcoat. There's something about you and the way you were made that fools the technology and fools people into thinking you're real. They think you're a real boy. And so you can get through these fields, and as you're talking to real people and they understand that you're some sort of a hybrid, they send you out to like take care of the puppets.
You hear how bad you're making this sound, right?
No, it's great. It's absolutely phenomenal. So it's an empty world in the way that like a Bloodborne world or a Dark Souls world is. There's a story reason for it.
I don't know, man. Upgrading your P, anti-puppet force fields.
It cracks me up. It's so good. It's so good.
I just can't believe this game got made.
I know. Just let it be silly. It's just silly.
It just doesn't look silly, which is why it's so confusing that there's so much silly.
And I think that's what's beautiful about it is I think
that's enough gameplay.
I think the developers only realized that it was silly like about half the time.
Yeah.
Like they only realized it was silly about half the time.
Yeah. Wait, no. Roll the game of the year graphic one more time.
Yeah, let's get that graphic in there.
Yeah, good.
It's so good. And the like all the different upgrades you can get, you've got like a grappling hook arm because you're a robot boy, and you can change like all your different trick arms to do different things. It's so good. The whole like the main area that you hang out in is like this beautiful grand hotel that's like all very Gilded Age hotel.
Yeah.
I love Lies of P so much.
Okay.
You sit in the P organ. Yeah, you sit in the P organ to upgrade the P. It's a great game. You're going to love this.
P organ.
Yeah, the P organ.
I've heard of this.
Yeah, the P organ comes from the balls. Yeah. It's a great game. If you're a fan of Souls-like games, and you're a fan of Bloodborne, but you are not a fan of how obtuse those games can be and how much those games can hide from you in terms of story and mechanics.
And how little P there is.
And how few P organs there are.
Yeah.
Lies of P is an amazing game. It streamlines the whole experience into exactly what I love most about those games, which is exploration, upgrading.
Yeah.
Extremely like timing based combat, but removes all the things like, did you know that if you read 87 menus down into 34 things, it'll tell you what to do with this pebble you found?
Oh, yeah.
Like it gets rid of that stuff from Souls games. It's very much like, no, I know what to do.
Right.
I don't necessarily know how to get there because this is a tough game.
Yeah.
But I can see where I have to go and I know what I have to do.
Okay.
It doesn't hide any of that stuff from you. I love it. Lies of P is very good.
I'm confused and interested.
Yeah, that's the whole vibe.
Yeah. I'll take it. I don't know if I can see myself getting to this one. It's not top of my list.
Yeah. You don't do a lot of the Souls games though.
I don't do a lot of the Souls games, but a little silliness is a plus for me.
Yeah. You have to be the sort of person when you play a game like this that finds it absolutely hilarious that they tricked you into dying after you made it like 20 minutes. Like that's all Souls games where it's just like, I opened a door and I got hit immediately by a boulder attached to a warthog attached to a skeleton.
Right.
And all three of them killed me at once for opening a door.
Perfect.
You know?
All right.
It's Souls games.
Next on my list.
Next on your list.
I feel like would probably make both of our lists.
It might.
Most likely.
You never know.
I don't know.
You can never tell.
But it's Spider-Man 2.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
It's so good.
It's so good. It's so phenomenal. Was this going to be on your list?
Oh, of course. This
of course this was going to be on my list. It's not my number one on my list because it was a great year for games. On another year, this would have been number one.
It's like we said for the Game Awards. This is Spider-Man's year to lose, unfortunately. Yeah. But dang it, there's nothing like this, man.
It's so much fun. It's just like I don't know. There's so little that feels like grinding in this game, which is so fun. All of the little repetitive activities for me are like, they hit just the right spot in my brain that it's not grind. It's just fun little repetitive tasks. I think that the story is beautiful and wonderful. I think it looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's a perfect game.
Okay. So from a gameplay perspective, there are 3 games. This is the 3rd game. There are 3 games into doing this kind of Spider-Man game. And after 2018, we were like, well, that's perfect. Now, there were some things in 2018 that when you look back on them, you know, like I did not want to chase pigeons. I'm Spider-Man.
I get that.
I'm Spider-Man. I don't want to chase pigeons. I'm Spider-Man. And as...
Hey, Josh.
It happens every time I come back to the main.
You know you can turn it off, right?
You want me to?
Yes.
Oh, man.
Can they hear us when that's happening?
They can.
Yeah,
But
okay.
it's also going, no.
Right.
So it might be a little tough to hear us during it. There is audio.
So, so chasing pigeons, I don't want to do. I'm Spider-Man. Taking pictures of people's license plates because they haven't gotten their car smog checked, I don't want to do.
Yeah.
I'm Spider-Man.
Right.
But because mechanically that 2018 game was so good, you were like, I'm going to do this because I'm Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And there was still a couple missions like that in this one where it's like, can you find out how to irrigate this rooftop garden?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I'm sure I could.
I'm Spider-Man.
Aren't there symbiotes all over the city?
Yeah.
But they have nailed the gameplay loops and gotten rid of so much of the bloat. And you didn't even realize in the first one there was bloat.
Yeah.
But there was, and they got rid of it.
Yeah, you know once you're playing this one for sure.
Yeah, it's
absolutely
unbelievable. The traversal, the combat, even upgrading the gadgets, which in the first one I was just like, yeah, fine, upgrade gadgets.
Yeah.
In this one, I felt like when I was upgrading the gadgets, the abilities really did something. I was using them in combat.
Oh yeah, the gadgets and upgrades were so fun.
Yeah.
I think that the reason that even the more, I guess like unnecessary missions, the silly ones that are little and feel a little like ridiculous to do a Spider-Man, I could literally just swing in circles on that game for 6 hours. So I'm like, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'll go do a little task. I'll shoot a web and I'll move around on a rooftop. That's fine.
Yeah. Well, they get, and I think the reason it works is because they really understand the character of Spider-Man, both of them.
Yeah.
They understand who they are and they understand the friendly neighborhood, right? Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yeah.
The way both Spider-Men interact with the community, the way they're both involved, the way the story works, and the way the characters are written works so well to just heighten everything that's going on to where it's like, Spider-Man, I lost this thing. Can you help me find it? It's like, yeah, of course I can. Of course I can. I'm Spider-Man.
Right.
I'll do it.
I also felt like every time I learned a new mechanic in game or a new ability in game, every time you're doing something and you're like, oh, it wants me to do something new here. Every time I did it, I was like, oh, you clever son of a bitch. Oh, Spider-Man.
Oh, Spider-Man, you
so
clever little boy, Spider-Man.
Look at you. The like climbing around on your webs like it's a tightrope over things is just like, oh.
So good.
I don't like stealth games very often. I love the stealth missions in this.
Yes.
And I'm terrible at stealth. I'm horrible at it. I am a guns blazing. I am a tank video game player. So like, so rare for me to enjoy doing stealth. Love it.
Yeah. It really, it takes that, in the first one, Well, I mean, I guess in this one too, but you really feel the Arkham of it.
Yeah.
You know, like obviously it's built on the Arkham missions, but it really takes that and grows those mechanics in really interesting ways that feel unique and correct for the character. And I also like the other thing that I really love about it. I mean, it looks beautiful. It's a technical achievement.
Yeah.
But in getting the characters right, it's not just that they get Spider-Man right. Every single character is so good. Like the first game, I was like, this is the best version of the Peter Parker, Otto Octavius story I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
And in this one, I was like, this is the best Peter Parker, Harry Osborn story I've ever seen.
It is.
Without taking away, like a lot of people were like, this game feels like it's mainly Peter's game. And there's a lot of Peter in it compared to Miles. There really is.
It's a lot more story.
But when you get to the end of the story, you see why. And it's okay. And when Miles is there, Miles doesn't feel like an add-on.
No.
He doesn't feel like he's unimportant. Miles' story feels just as integral to the rest of the thing. And he's just as interesting a character. But I will say, this is the best Peter Parker, Harry Osborn story.
I agree.
Ever across Spider-Man media. I've been a fan of Spider-Man my whole life, and I have never understood why Peter and Harry are friends.
Yeah.
I have never gotten it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, I get it. I've explained it away as like the nerd nobody likes and the rich kid nobody likes get together and they become friends because they're outcasts together.
Sure.
I understand that. Peter and Harry are fucking friends in this game.
Yeah.
And you care about Harry Osborn.
And they did part of that by doing those like flashback moments of like showing you their friendship throughout the years and having them like recapture it as adults and seeing what like mirrors there are to that.
Yeah.
That like they had to make it matter before the rest of the story unfolded.
Sure. And here's what I'll say. Like, Spider-Man's had 70 years across all media to do that.
Yeah.
And they finally did it here. I'll also say this is one of my favorite, if not favorite, versions of Venom.
I agree.
Because of what they did with Harry.
Yeah.
And because they made it not just Eddie Brock is a guy who's like Peter Parker, but mean.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Bad Spider-Man.
He's bad. He's like, what if Spider-Man was not a good guy? And like that's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
But the way they wrapped it all together and just made it into Peter and Harry trying to do good for the world, Norman trying to do good for Harry, everybody trying, and just it all gets away from them in a way that is very, very Spider-Man.
Agreed.
And I love it.
Agreed.
I love it so much. But even like smaller things, the Mysterio missions were amazing. Mysterio's story is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And Mysterio's story is about Miles.
Yeah.
Which I love. All of the little things you get check-ins with some of the other villains from the past games. You get to see Tombstone and all this stuff, and it's it's
a wonderful game.
It's a wonderful game. And then Kraven, we haven't even talked about Kraven, and Kraven is fucking unbelievable. And Kraven's another character where I've never been into Kraven.
No. Hey, there's still time. Maybe you'll love the Kraven movie.
There was one there was one cool Kraven story in 1990. And ever since then, everybody's been like, fucking Kraven, man. And I'm like, all right, Kraven.
Yeah.
What is he? He likes to hunt, huh?
I don't think we can recap the entirety of Spider-Man 2. It's 10/17.
My goodness.
We got to get through the rest of these games, Anthony.
Oh, well, I've only got one left that matters.
I've got 2 left that matter. I saved my best 2 for last.
Yeah, I mean, I got 2 more, but I've only got 1 left that matters.
Okay, well, let's hustle through it. What's up next?
Alan Wake 2.
That didn't come in at number 1.
It is number 1.
Oh, you're not doing your other one?
I don't think we'll get to it.
I'm telling both of mine.
You tell both of yours.
I will.
I'm just going to do Alan Wake 2.
All right.
I'm taking all of my remaining time for Alan Wake 2. Alan Wake 2, which I waited 13 years for, and there are very few things that you wait 13 years for, and when they come out, you go, whoops, better than I expected. And Alan Wake 2 is that thing.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I have never played a game like this. You have never played a game like this. Nobody's ever played a game like Alan Wake 2.
No one's ever played a game.
No one's ever played a game?
Not until Alan Wake 2.
Absolutely think that you've played a game. Name a game. You can't.
Try.
You can't. Because Alan Wake 2 is out now.
Yep.
Alan Wake 2 is everything that I wanted. It is a psychological horror game that has an entire theme park dedicated to coffee. It is entirely Twin Peaks and Northern Exposure and The Dark Half and fucking everything you've ever watched. And Fringe. It's Fringe sometimes. It's everything. Alan Wake is everything. The performances are amazing. The mixed media is amazing.
Yeah.
Like Remedy's always done amazing stuff with mixed media. And everybody talks about the dance sequence, and you've seen the dance sequence. But here's the thing. The dance sequence isn't the coolest thing they do with mixed media in Alan Wake 2, by far. There are layers upon layers upon layers of narrative and game in this game that do the wildest shit. It's not even Alan Wake's game.
No.
It's Saga Anderson's game.
Yeah.
And a lot of developers have tried to pull that bait and switch on people before.
And people hated it.
I fucking love it in Alan Wake 2.
Yeah.
Saga Anderson rules. She rules so hard. And did you like Control? Shut up, because it's also Control. Fuck, this game rules so hard. The Remedy games are some of the only games where I try to see every single little thing that they put in the game.
Yeah.
Where I'm just like, I don't just have to like 100% this from a gameplay perspective. If there's a little TV somewhere, I want to make sure that I can or cannot turn it on. If there's a little radio somewhere, what's playing on the radio? Because I'm going to sit and I'm going to listen to it.
Yeah.
Because it's fucking good and hilarious.
Yeah.
There are characters in Alan Wake 2 that you never see that have entire narratives and you know them and you're worried about them. It's so fucking good. You must play Alan Wake 2. The shooting sucks. The shooting still sucks.
Yeah, it's always sucks.
The shooting sucks so bad. You just got to push through that. You got to push through that. And let me tell you something. It's not as much shooting as you think. Don't worry. You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay.
Okay.
There's so much in there for just adventure game fans. Like, it really, so much of this game is solving a case in a way that is very satisfying.
So we have some questions from chat for you. Cassidy Weaver in the live studio audience asks, do I need to play the first game first?
No. I think you should. No. Here's what I'm going to say. You can play Remedy, or you can play Control, Alan Wake 2, and Alan Wake in any order you want.
Okay. The next question we have is from Tyler Eichenberg. It's not a question, actually. It's just a comment saying, I actually really enjoyed the shooting in the first one. So my question is, if you enjoyed the shooting in the first one, will you enjoy it in the second one?
Yeah, it's better in the second one.
Okay.
The first one is universally known for its horrible shooting.
Yeah.
But like, if you can deal with that, you'll be able to deal with 2, no problem. But it's not much better. I'm going to tell you this. It's not 13 years better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
All right.
Also, if you can play it on a console, even if you're a PC gamer, if you could play it on a console, I would say play it on a console.
Really? Why is that?
Unless you've got like a 40, hey Saige, what kind of video card do you have?
It's a 4090.
Oh, okay. Well, then you should play Alan Wake 2 on your PC.
Oh, okay.
Everybody else, I've got a 3080 and I wish that I had bought it for the PS5. My computer sounds like a wind tunnel. And I run it on medium. But here's what I'll say. We've gotten conditioned. This is another thing that I actually kind of like about the game. The game has low, medium, and high settings, right? Just like every other game.
Yeah.
Alan Wake 2 on the lowest setting looks better than 90% of the games that are out there.
Wow.
So when they say medium, it's like you're halfway to the most beautiful game you've ever seen. So reconceptualize your idea of what low and medium settings are before you play the game.
Okay.
Because it's beautiful no matter what. But I will also say, if you don't want to be the sort of person who's like, I wonder if I could just squeeze like a little more out of this, or if I could get it to look a little better, like just play it on a console. It looks great.
Okay. All right. Well, next up for me, is Baldur's Gate 3, obviously.
Baldur's Gate.
Baldur's Gate 3 is objectively for me, the best game of this year.
Yeah.
I am a huge Baldur's Gate fan. I've done so much raving about this game that it feels almost silly to go back into it, if that makes sense. So like, I don't even feel like we have to talk about it for long.
Yeah.
But Baldur's Gate 3, if you are a D&D fan, if you are not a D&D fan, is such a wonderfully faithful take on the world to explore it. It's things that you're like, God, I've been picturing this in my mind, playing Dungeons and Dragons for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
What an experience to get to interact with it in this different medium. The choice to add voices to so many fucking characters in this game.
Wild.
Your party is amazing. The NPCs are amazing. Like I said, I play a druid, so I genuinely think one of the things that like set it over the edge for me was looking forward to little opportunities to talk to animals, speak with animals. All of them have a voice. All of them have a personality. The combat is so much fun. I'm not somebody who combat is usually my favorite aspect of a game. I love it. I am constantly looking for opportunities to fight in this game.
Yeah.
Because I love it.
I
love D&D combat, and I love to go through the entire round of initiatives and get to play every class.
It took me a moment to like remember all the things you can do on a turn in combat in D&D, because I'm looking at video game but playing D&D.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh right, I could have just shoved.
Yeah.
You know, like I wasn't thinking about all the mechanics of D&D, but they're all in there.
And when you're playing D&D, you're like, shit, can I do anything as a bonus action every single time? Every time I've got a round where we're in like a heavy combat, I build my characters based on good bonus actions a lot of the time.
Sure.
Because I think it is a very, like that's a make or break to me, is a good bonus action in any D&D game. I love it. I love that you can always shove. I love that there's always an extra thing that you can do. I love to be like, okay, all right. So I'm going up in first as my rogue. I know that I've got a cleric down the line, so I can make this little bit of a riskier play up here and know that she's got us, and we'll be able to swoop in and take care of it a little bit. And I'm strategizing everybody's turns. I love that it's like, I don't know, what other games you get to be like, okay, I didn't get to choose this initiative order, which is very fun. And now that means every time I go into combat, I have to, I can't just get into a pattern because initiative order matters so much.
It's not like any other team-based, squad-based game where it's like, I'm always sending this guy in first, and then this person will combo with this, and then this person will do this. Yeah.
The opportunity to every time have to reconfigure and be like, ooh, I get to build a new strategy with my party this time.
I think the thing for me that shows what an achievement this game is, because when you first look at it, you know, it's got that isometric PC look. It's beautiful, but I remember first looking at it, we've been so trained to think about technical achievements in games by things like graphical fidelity and things like that. The thing that made me understand what an achievement Baldur's Gate was playing the first 3 hours.
Yeah.
And then talking to people about the first 3 hours and thinking as you're playing through it, like, yeah, you go here, you talk to this guy, then you do this, then you do this.
No, somebody did it totally different. Somebody ended up somewhere totally different.
Totally different. Every single tiny little decision matters in a way, and they do it so smoothly that you don't even notice.
That you think this is the way the game goes.
This is just the way the game goes. This is the way the story happens. The only time you really notice it is when you get towards the end of Act 2, the beginning of Act 3, and it's loading. Yeah. And you can tell it's loading every decision you've ever made.
Yeah.
And it's like, chug, 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 chug. Okay, I'm ready. It genuinely does feel like sitting across from a DM that's going, yeah, okay, let's go. Yeah.
That's very fair. There is, in my head mentions the character creation. The character creation is phenomenal. There's so much replayability to this game. I think it is an achievement in games.
Yeah.
That I can't name another thing like it.
Oh, 100%.
I can't name another thing like it.
Brendix in the live studio audience is saying, I missed Asterion entirely. Dude, same with me and Gale. People keep going, oh yeah, and then Gale. I was like, who, you mean that hand? I was like, you mean that hand that fell into a portal?
Wild.
People are like, that's Gale. He's like, blah, blah. I was like, no, he's not. He's a fucking hand and he doesn't matter. No. I don't know this guy. I don't know that guy.
The wizard's so important.
I don't know that guy. I don't care.
Bananas.
I don't know. He's not so important. I played the whole game without him. How can he be that important?
I keep Gale with me all the time.
Cool.
Every time I reconfigure a party, still Gale.
I feel like if you don't want to live in a portal, don't jump into one, idiot hand.
Also, Ethan was here earlier. Hi, Ethan.
Hi, Eth.
By the way, I just like I'm scrolling back in chat. And the comment was, I personally think the Deba Deeby Dodo really does add to the conversation.
The Deba Deeby Dodo really is the thing that makes it.
Yeah.
Deba Deeby Dodo. Did you had one more that you wanted to talk about?
I do, because here's the thing. Every time somebody's asked me, what's your game of the year? I've been saying Baldur's Gate, but that's not true. That's not my game of the year.
I think we can both agree on this one.
I think that's the biggest, best game of the year.
Yes.
But the game of the year?
Game of the year.
Is Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life.
I thought you were going a different way. I thought you were going watermelon game.
No.
All right.
No.
I would have been with you on watermelon game.
I know. But I have to mention, this is a phenomenal game. I've played so many hours in this doing nonsense. I have a wife and a child waiting for me at home when I get home today. I love this game. Now, this is a remake.
Yep.
Which is a bold move to put as my favorite game of 2023.
But it's so remade. Like,
it is so remade. It is so expanded upon. It is adds so much value to it. It carries through a bunch of beautiful nostalgia. But here's what I will say too. Harvest Moon. This is a remake of Harvest Moon, A Wonderful Life, and Another Wonderful Life combined into one game. I've played a lot of farming games. This was my first farming game, and I have now since played every farming game. I've played everything they've got to offer out here for farming games.
Yeah.
And to be able to remake the same game that was my first farming sim and still to be here, like, this is still one of the best. Like the mechanics, the enjoyment, the actual farming aspects of it, for it to hold up that well, it is just a reminder to you that Harvest Moon walked so that everything else, literally everything else you love could run.
It was the game.
Right.
It was the game for something.
And that's not just Stardew. That's everything. That's Coral Island. That's all of it. And it's just such a fun game. And I know that I understand that Baldur's Gate was a better game this year, but it's beautiful and it's wonderful. And the story is so compelling and sad and gorgeous and lovely. And I got the opportunity when I had a baby with my wife. You don't have to explain that.
No.
I love that. They were just like me and my wife, me, a woman, and my wife had a beautiful baby girl.
That's right.
And she holds the baby and she looks at you and she says, I think she's going to be smart. Do you think she should be smart? And you can say no.
You can say, no, we're making this baby dumb.
And instead, it gets the athletic trait. So she turns around and she goes, then she'll be an athlete. So instead, you can have a strong, buff baby.
Who can dance like a man?
And I just think that is Japanese games translated to America.
Yeah.
In the perfect nutshell.
Yeah.
I really, really do.
So she'll be smart. No. Okay, then a bodybuilder.
Yeah. I run around and I dig in dirt all day and I go and I talk to my neighbors and this baby runs freely throughout the town.
Yeah.
Unsupervised, a baby. I will just be out in town and my baby will walk by and I'll be like, hey.
The baby's smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
It's like, hey.
My baby's name is Yeti.
Yeah. Okay.
Named after my friend the Yeti, because there's also little magical aspects of this. There's little sprites and there's Yetis in the town. It's nonsensical and it's a perfect game and it is my game of the year for 2023. Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life.
There you go. The two genders, Story of Seasons and Alan Wake 2.
Yeah. Honestly. What was your other one that you didn't get to that would have been your second?
Oh, there are a couple and I was going to decide one of them in the moment. But it was either probably going to be either Cocoon or Jusant.
Okay.
My runners up are like Cocoon, Jusant, Super Mario Wonder. Yeah. I got some runners up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Suika Watermelon Game's up there.
Suika Watermelon
Honestly, I put a lot of time into Suika Watermelon
Suika Watermelon Game's up there. Shout out to Suika Watermelon Game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Game of the year in our hearts.
Game of the year in our hearts and minds forever. Yeah, there was just so many good games this year. It was a really good. Pseudo Regalia's up there. Pseudo Regalia's amazing. It's cost $5. Go grab it on itch.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Like so many good big and small games this year.
Yeah. It was a pretty good game. You know what I'm thinking, Anthony?
What?
Today is Friday.
It's true.
Which means we have a Patreon clip.
It's true.
And because we didn't get to do an episode on Wednesday, we still have our favorite TV shows and movies to talk about. So maybe we'll talk about that on the Patreon.
Maybe.
You can check us out at patreon.com/PixelCircus. It's a great way to support our little independent network. We are offline next week. I'm going out of town for the holidays. So we will be back, I think, before the new year. We'll talk about when that is, what that looks like.
Yeah.
But
well, the new year, it's usually January 1st.
Yeah. But we'll see. I don't want to assume.
No. If they listen,
we'll see.
When it happens, it happens.
Yeah. Anyways, so we will see you before whenever that happens, whenever the new year happens. But we will not see you next week. So if you're feeling a little bit of a hole in your heart for where It's Too Early sits, you can catch up on all of the bonus clips that are available to you on the Patreon if you haven't already, including the one we will record for you today.
That's right.